Have you ever truly noticed what happens when you pull back? Not with a loud outburst of anger, not with a dramatic scene that everyone can see coming, but with a sudden, profound silence. It is a shift that alters the very atmosphere of a room. The person on the other side feels it instantly, not necessarily in words, but in weight. They sense that something vital is missing: your presence, your energy, your essence. Where there used to be a constant stream of noise, the calls, the long-winded explanations, the desperate justifications, there is now only a quiet void. In that void, something incredibly powerful begins to take root. Withdrawal is never just about absence. It is a message, a strategic shift, and a mirror held up to those who once felt they were in total control of the dynamic. When that mirror appears, people often panic. In the sudden quiet, they are forced to reflect. They begin to replay the last things they said, the way they acted, and the moments they took for granted. They start to question if, perhaps this time, they finally went too far. This is the hidden power of stepping back. It doesn't scream or fight for attention. It simply removes your light and makes others face their own darkness. This silence is often misunderstood by the world. They say it's a sign of weakness or a passive way of giving up. But the truth is that silence, when chosen consciously and with intent, is one of the loudest things in any room. It draws attention without even trying. It makes people lean in, guess, and wonder. In their growing discomfort, they often start to speak more than they intended, rushing to fill a silence that wasn't theirs to break. That is the secret. You didn't have to raise your voice to shift the entire room. You just had to stop offering it. However, it is vital to understand that withdrawing isn't about pouting or petty punishment. It isn't leaving the table in a fit of rage, because that is a reaction, and a reaction is exactly what they expect from you. A strategic retreat is different. It is calm, controlled, and chosen. It is stepping back with grace, not to hurt them, but to protect yourself. You stop reacting and start observing. You don't explode, you center yourself. You don't lose control, you gain it. When you master this balance between silence and presence, you stop being a pawn in their drama. You stop answering every poke, every test, and every provocation. You step into a pause, and in that pause, you rise. The one who doesn't chase, beg, or react is the one who holds the real power, even if no one can explain why. There is a quiet danger in always being the one who is there, always answering, always listening, always comforting. At first, you believe it's love or loyalty, but eventually, something shifts. People stop noticing your effort because it has become part of the furniture. They stop valuing your presence because it is guaranteed. When something is always there, it stops feeling special. It becomes an expectation, an assumption, a right. You started as a gift in their lives, but over time, you became background noise. This is the trap of emotional availability without limits. They know you'll answer the phone at 2 a.m. They know you'll drop everything to help them, even if they have given you nothing in return for months. Without realizing it, you become a convenience rather than a partner. This is where manipulation sneaks in. If someone knows you will always soothe their anxiety, they stop learning how to calm themselves. If they know you will always forgive, they stop respecting your boundaries. Why should they change when they know you will stay exactly the same? What was once kindness becomes a pattern, and what was once love becomes unacknowledged labor. This isn't about becoming cold or shutting your heart away from the world. It's about discernment. It's about knowing when to hold space and when to step back. Some people only grow when they are forced to sit with the silence they once lived. When you stop rescuing and explaining, they are finally forced to feel your absence. That is the moment they might begin to see your true worth. Your presence should be earned, not expected. Your care should be valued, not consumed. When you step back and say no, you aren't abandoning it. You are choosing yourself. Every time you defend your worth or explain your heart to someone who isn't listening, you give away something precious. It isn't the big fights that drain you, it's the constant, subtle pulls on your energy. Protecting your energy means realizing that not every comment deserves a response, and not every conflict requires your involvement. When you hold on to your energy, you aren't being selfish, you are practicing survival. When you become predictable, you become vulnerable. When people know exactly which buttons to press to get a reaction, they don't need to force it. They simply need to let it. They steer your behavior through guilt, anger, or anxiety. Breaking this cycle starts with disrupting your own reactions. Instead of arguing, you go silent. Instead of chasing, you stay still. In that silence, they lose their grip on you. This leads to what Carl Jung called individuation. Have you ever considered the true impact of pulling back? It is a shift that doesn't require a loud argument or a dramatic exit. It is a quiet, profound withdrawal that completely alters the weight of the air between two people. The other person senses it instantly, not through anything you say, but through the sudden, heavy realization that your energy is no longer theirs to claim. Where there was once a steady stream of explanations and efforts, there is now only an echoing void. This void serves as a mirror, forced upon those who once felt they held all the power in the relationship. While many mistake silence for weakness, when used with intent, it is the most dominant force in the room. It is a strategic retreat, a calm distance that allows you to observe from a place of clarity rather than reacting from a place of hurt. The person who stops chasing and starts observing is the one who truly holds the power. We often confuse constant availability with loyalty, but over time, being Hamesha present causes your value to fade into the background. When your presence is guaranteed, it becomes an expectation rather than a gift, and you gradually transform from a partner into a mere convenience. This is where manipulation takes root. When people realize they can depend on your endless forgiveness to soothe their own anxieties without ever changing themselves. Some people can only grow when they are forced to confront the silence you used to fill. Your care should be a high-value currency, not a commodity for others to consume at will. Saying no isn't an act of desertion. It is an act of self-reclamation. Every time you allow yourself to be dragged into someone else's chaos, you leak energy that you may never get back. Guarding that energy is not selfish. It is essential for your survival. Predictability is a vulnerability. When others know exactly which buttons to press to get a rise out of you, they have the map to your control. They use guilt, fear, and habit to steer you because they can anticipate your every move. To break this cycle, you must disrupt the pattern. Instead of arguing, choose the power of silence. Instead of chasing, remain still. This is the path to individuation, becoming the person you were meant to be, independent of the roles others demand you play. When your sense of worth is no longer tied to external approval, you step into a rare kind of freedom. Psychological boundaries are the walls that keep your mental health intact. Embrace the art of being a mystery. You are not obligated to lay your entire soul bare for public consumption. By becoming less accessible, you remind the world that your attention is earned, not owed. Your value is not a reflection of your usefulness to others. It is inherent to your existence as a unique individual. We are often conditioned to believe that our only worth lies in how much we give, but that is a hollow trap that leads to burnout. True self-worth is internal. It is the deep understanding that your presence is precious and must be protected. Stepping back is not a sign of defeat. It is the moment you choose to rediscover yourself. When you start respecting your own boundaries and mastering your reactions, the entire dynamic of your life shifts. You cease being a pawn on someone else's board and finally become the master of your own journey. Make silence your shield, and let the world finally see the true value